Hello, 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 a big hello and a warm welcome to each and everybody right now. My name is Gaurav Tekriwal and I represent the Vedic Maths Forum India, and I would like to extend my welcome to each and every one of you. You're watching from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. So a warm welcome to each one of you and say hello and type in your city name if you're watching. And if you're watching this, just type in your city name and show some love, show some hello if you're watching this right now. Today we have a very, very special guest with us today. His name is Dr. RadhaKrishnan Pillai, and he is a big brother to me. Namaste, Bhaiya. And I would like to take 2 minutes to introduce him, and then folks will be going on with the questions. So, Dr. RadhaKrishnan Pillai, fondly known as Chanakya Pillai, he is a teacher to his students, an author to his readers, a management trainer, consultant, and guide to his clients. I mean, I must say that I've been fortunate enough to receive personal mentoring from him when he was in Kolkata, and that was a true privilege to me. Dr. Pillai has been confirmed with the and honored with the Sardar Patel National Award for this research on Chanakya and his principles. His first book, Corporate Chanakya, has created record for the highest number of pre-release sales for any first book of an author. Dr. Pillai is also the deputy director at the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies under the University of Mumbai. A warm welcome to you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. So,
In
Bhaiya,
fact,
yeah, Bhaiya.
Gaurav sir, it's an honor to be on your show because I am a student of Vedic mathematics under your guidance only, and Shovik sir and everybody has been guiding me. So first of all, thanks to you and thanks to the Vedic Maths India Forum for making me part of this particular platform. I want to thank you and all the audience for being part of this.
That's so kind of you to say that, sir. I'm really flattered right now, and it feels great to share a little bit of Vedic maths with you, and it's a pleasure to have you again here, sir. So, sir, tell me about the early days. Matlab, how did it all begin for you? Chanakya, and how did it all begin?
So Gaurav ji, it so happens that Rumi, one of the very great philosophers, once said, "Sometimes you choose your path, and sometimes the path chooses you." So
Very well
frankly,
said.
frankly speaking, I never thought that I will be in this field of Chanakya and education specifically, and writing books and being an author. But it is God's grace, and of course Chanakya's kripa, as we say. So coming back, how did it actually happen? I can tell you in 2020, this is the year currently, we almost completed 20 years of my journey, and 2021 is the 21st year of my journey. So in the
Wow.
year 2000, I remember that I was working in a big multinational company heading the sales for that. It was into sports management. And unfortunately, the founder died, and I almost thought, what next job can I take? So I was already doing a very big job in a multinational company in a sports management field. We used to work with the who's who like the Sachin Tendulkars and all that. But at that particular point of time, my guru guided me that you should look out for a job. No, you should think about becoming an entrepreneur. So it is the entrepreneur journey that happened almost 20, 21 years ago that made me to think like Chanakya. And in my interest, I said, I have done my MBA. I'm doing a lot of management studies as far as the Western management is concerned. But unfortunately, I'm running an Indian business. I started a company called Atma Darshan into spiritual tourism. And I said, okay,
Mhm.
let me try to understand what is Indian management. And Chanakya was a person who was managing the whole kingdom. And in that particular journey, I suddenly realized there is so much management principles. I started reading the Arthashastra. I went into the detail of it. I studied it. Later on, of course, I did my PhD in the subject. But just to begin that, it was a journey that just started very casually. But today it has become my full-time career and also my passion. So 21 years of trying to understand Chanakya is all God's grace. And thanks to friends like you who keep promoting me.
It's a pleasure because what you're doing, you're taking Indian wisdom and you're giving it to the world. And you have given so many applications of Chanakya, the Arthashastra Sutras, that is simply amazing. And we're going to talk all about that. Bhaiya, then how did the first book, Corporate Chanakya, happen?
So that exactly is also one of the, I would say, fortune or God's grace that happened. This happened that I was once invited to a Rotary function in the Taj Mahal Hotel, which is a very branded hotel, the first five-star hotel in India. And I was a speaker over there, and I spoke on Chanakya. And after the event was over, three people came to me and said, "You speak very well on Chanakya. Would you like to write a book on Chanakya?" I said, "Yeah, I can write. That's not a problem. But who are you?" So they said, "We are the publishers. We are JECO." I said, "Wow, JECO is like India's number one, among the India's number top three publishers. It's very good. I've read JECO books." And again, coming back, it's fortune that, instead of me looking out for a publisher, the publisher found me. And even before I wrote the book, I actually found one of the best publishers. I wrote my book. It took 4.5 years actually, because it's a very deep research book. But finally, what we have last year, we completed 10 years of corporate Chanakya's release in 2010. And I'm very fortunate,
Wow.
that the book has been very much accepted globally. It has been accepted in universities. It's very popular. It's also a bestseller. So it is again saying that, probably it is Chanakya's wisdom and publishers like Jayco who made me India's whatever best-selling author in the space of Chanakya.
You are India's the best-selling author, the number one business author of India. So that's amazing, and I get to learn so much from you all the time, sir. So, Bhaiya, let's throw a light for our followers from other countries. A little bit of light on on Chanakya, like who was he, and why are his teachings so relevant today?
So Chanakya was born in the 4th century BC, which is roughly 2,300 years ago from today. And he was a person who was known as a kingmaker. So if you look at his particular background in history, there was this particular Nanda dynasty. And this Nanda dynasty had its capital in Patliputra, which is modern day Patna. And the kingdom was Magad kingdom, which is we call as modern day Bihar, that part of India. And it so happened that there was a particular teacher. His name was Chanak. And Chanak was an advisor to Dhananand, that king. Unfortunately, Dhananand was not a great leader. He was very corrupt, and people were very unhappy. So this Dhananand was advised by Acharya Chanak or teacher Chanak, saying that you should govern well, etc., etc. But the king never heard him, and instead of listening to a teacher, he actually killed him. So that was the story.
Oh,
But interestingly, Chanak son, Acharya Chanak's son was Chanakya. That's how he gets the name Chanakya. He
ah,
carried forward what his father had not done yet to establish good leadership. So this particular person, Chanakya, then went to Takshashila University, which is a very prominent university of those days, where he studied political science or Rajaniti, and he continued to actually teach there as a teacher, professor. But then destiny called him back to Magad kingdom, and he had to dethrone Dhananand and make Chandragupta Maurya a kingmaker. So the Chandragupta Maurya becomes a king because he was a kingmaker. So from an ordinary boy, Chanakya carved out one of the greatest emperors of India. Very important thing is that he also defeated Alexander when he was in his drive and mission to conquer the world. But he could not conquer India because of Chanakya's intelligence and strategies. Later on, when Chandragupta Maurya became a king, he did two important things. Number one, he documented the process of how to run a kingdom. And that book is called as Kautilya's Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti. The second important thing that he did was that he continued teaching like his father. So after his work was over to establish a leader, he continued teaching leadership or Rajaniti, and therefore he's still known as Acharya Chanakya or Teacher Chanakya. And I've been very fortunate that I've studied the Arthashastra and trying to bring out the nuggets of wisdom that Chanakya applied many centuries ago to our generation.
so what are the some of Chanakya's teaching in the Arthashastra? What secrets does it contain? Is it applicable for everybody or only for certain kings? and kingmaker. So, what is Arthashastra all about?
So as you look at this word Arthashastra, it means two words which combines to become one word in Sanskrit. Artha means wealth and Shastra means scripture. So it's actually a book, a scripture on management of wealth. So many scholars call it a book of economics. But then it has got a multi-dimensional approach. It's got economics, it's got leadership, it's got military science, it's got law in it, it's got foreign policy. So Arthashastra
Wow.
has got 6,000 sutras or formulas of how to run a kingdom. It is divided into 150 chapters, 180 books, and 180 sections. So it's a huge book. And as you rightly pointed out, what was the subject knowledge and how is it relevant to us? See, you'd be surprised that even though Chanakya spoke about so many topics in one book, the Arthashastra, he talks about the human psychology as well, because
Ah,
it's a book on leadership. And as you see, the world of maths, it's very conceptual. We deal with numbers. If you've been a teacher of Vedic mathematics, you've written best-selling books, you have created so many teachers yourself. So Rajaniti or political science or Arthashastra is also very conceptual. But he made sure that these formulas, like how you have it in the Vedic mathematics, is also made into a process. So the greatest
ah,
contribution of Chanakya is to make formulas of leadership or Rajaniti, political science, into nuggets of wisdom that not only the Rajas, but also the Praja can benefit. So for the kings and the common man. And we have to be very, very happy to know that this knowledge is still existing, because many books get outdated and out of print, as they say. But in this
hmm.
particular case, the book has survived 2,400 years. And even today, we can bring out the nuggets of wisdom which we can benefit from. So that's Kautilya's Arthashastra for all of us.
So, what are some of Chanakya's wisdom for students, if we are to say? I also, before I go into that, I just want to say quick hello to people who's watching us right now from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. A big, big hello from both of us to everybody. We have Pragya Pandey who just says hello, sir. We have Dhavit Satya, regards from Peru. He's from South America. We have Hiya Mukherjee says hello. Manish Jain says hello. Let's see. We have Anuj Purbe. They're all welcoming you, sir. So that's amazing. So let's continue the discussion. So, what are some of Chanakya's wisdom for students, if I were to ask you?
Yeah, Gaurav sir, thank you for once again giving a hello to all our audience. A hello from my side also. Thank you so much for joining from different parts of the world and our country, of course. So hello to each one of you. Coming to your question, Gaurav sir, what are the Chanakya's nuggets of wisdom for students? For that, I would suggest that you should read one of the books that I've written. It's called Chanakya in the Classroom. So this tells us how Chanakya's wisdom can be actually applied to modern day education system. Thank you, Gaurav, sir, for showing the pictures. You see the tagline, it says life lessons for students. Thank you, Gauravji. I'll tell you before I go into the nuggets what happened today morning. Today morning, I
Uh-huh.
got a call from a very well-known education institution in India called Symbiosis, which is in Pune. And one of the students just called me up and said, "I want to invite you for a TEDx talk because they have some Symbiosis TEDx event happening." I said, "Very much happy to be part of it." But then that student who was an organizer told me something. "Sir, I want to share something with you." I said, "Please, I'm all ears to listen." Saying that when I was in my 11th standard, I got 65%. And somewhere I actually got hold of your book, which is Chanakya in the Classroom, and I applied those principles. And you'd be surprised that I got 95% in 12th standard.
Wow.
So
Why?
that was something which like really was a great feedback. And I told him, Ravi, tell me which part of Chanakya's wisdom in the book actually was important for you. So I'm going to answer your question with those applications. So he
Wow.
told me one very important part, that is daily timetable of a student. Now, there is a chapter in the book where if you want to be a good student and a successful student, you need to have something called as discipline. And for discipline, you need to have a timetable. Unfortunately, our timetable is set by the school or the college where we go to. But if I were to tell you what is the daily timetable, 99% of the people don't even know what is the meaning of a timetable. They think getting up and going back to sleep is a time scheduling. No. If you're a student, apart from the school, you should have your own timetable. And then in my book, I have written that, there are two types of timetable for a student. One is a regular timetable and one is timetable during exam times. So when you're in examination mode, suddenly you become very alert. And once the examination is over, you say, okay, fine, now let us study when the exams are coming. Unfortunately, in our education system currently, it is not an education system. It's all about writing exams. So coming back, in this book, I have given one nugget, which Chanakya also says in the Arthashastra. You should study every day, irrespective of whether you have an exam or not. But during exam, write and study for exams. But before exams, keep studying. So study and examination should not be linked. But good studies should lead to an examination or assessment. So I think one of the first principles is that don't wait for an exam time to start studying. Create a time for studying every day. That is 365 days. Imagine the Arthashastra, after becoming a leader or a king, Chanakya says you have to study 3 hours every day. And people who are very busy, they say, I don't have time. Actually, it is the other way around. If you want to be a good leader, you need to find out time, and especially for studying. I'm not telling you 3 hours every day you should study, but at least when you're a full-time student, please study at least 1.5, 2 hours every day. And when the exam time comes, of course, you have to study 16, 17, 18 hours a day. So the first step is that you should be self-disciplined even without exams. The second important thing, and that is very important, that don't be a mugger. Okay, so people just mug and they just try to write for the exam time. In fact, it is said, the more you sweat during peace times, the less you bleed during war times. So you have to be very prepared and healthy, physically, mentally, intellectually, during the peace times. So friends, what is important is that you should play well. You should have different hobbies. You should keep your mind alert, read a lot. And you'll be surprised once you are having that intellectual ability, conceptual knowledge, exam becomes very easy. The third point which I want to tell for students is that learn from all teachers. All teachers. Unfortunately, what happens is that we only try to put teachers into a specific box. Maths teacher, English teacher, and good teacher and a bad teacher. No. If you're a student, you learn from everyone. And please understand, don't compare teachers. Every teacher has got a plus and minus. Some teachers are good in communication. Some teachers are good storytellers. But remember, the moment you have a teacher, he or she has gone through a particular level of testing by the institution also. So one of the biggest thing is your shraddha or the faith in the teacher. Believe me, today, unfortunately, students also rate teachers. But the reality is that a student should not rate teachers, but they should learn from every teacher. And if you have this particular attitude, believe me, you'll become a good student. There are many tips, right from, how to keep a healthy body, exercising, how to think like Chanakya. There's a subject called as Anvikshiki. So a lot of tips. But just to tell you is that, in a very simple word, have a disciplined life, study every day, even without exams. And most important, learn from all type of teachers. Become a good student and become a good learner. These are the few of the tips.
Wow. Wow. That's something amazing. You have decoded Chanakya for students in such an amazing way, Bhaiya. That is amazing. So I just want to continue on that thought. So, what is the Saptang pillar of success and leadership program? What are the key takeaways from your Saptang pillar of success given by Chanakya?
Thank you so much, Gauravji. I've been very fortunate when I did my PhD. It is said that, your particular PhD should not be just for a doctoral degree. My guide, Dr. Shubhada Joshi, told me you should look at application of Chanakya's philosophy. So it should be
Ah,
applied. I said, okay. So, don't just look at Chanakya as a great person from the past. What are the kind of principles and formulas and models that you can use in our generation? So I said, okay, there are so many, but I picked the one model which I'm actually teaching now in universities and in open classrooms also, and of course, webinars. It is called the Saptanga leadership program, as you rightly pointed out. So what is Saptanga? It was originally written by Chanakya, and it's there in the Arthashastra as well. Sapta Anga. Sapta means seven, Anga means parts. So seven parts of a kingdom is called as Saptanga. So what are these seven parts? So when Chanakya is training his students who are going to be future kings and leaders, he says you have to run a kingdom. But in a kingdom, you have to take care of seven things. If you take care of these seven things, your kingdom is well. So what are they? He says the kingdom consists of seven elements. And these seven elements put together makes a healthy kingdom. What are they? It comes a sutra or a formula in book number 6, chapter 1, sutra number 1 of Chanakya's Arthashastra. It reads like this in Sanskrit. Swami Amatya Janapada Durga Kosha Danda Mitra Iti Prakriteya, which means the king, the minister, Swami Amatya, Janapada, the citizens, Durga, that is the infrastructure of the fort, Kosha, the treasury, Danda, the army, and Mitra, the ally. These put together, the Prakritis make a great kingdom. So just to tell you that a king, a minister, happy citizens, good fortified city, and of course, good finance and treasury, good army, and good allies or friends make a healthy kingdom. Now,
Wow.
today, if you look at it, how do we apply for a common man? So let's say, Gaurav, sir, you're running a fantastic organization, the Vedic India Foundation, and all that courses that you're doing. So whether you are running a particular organization and a forum, I am running an organization, you can apply it. For example, let's say there is a school or a college. So who is a Swami or a Swamini? The principal. Amatyas are the other teachers. Janapada are the students. Durga is the infrastructure. Today it is physical and digital. Like you got a wonderful restream platform also with all the Instagram and Facebook Live. So today that's also digital infrastructure required in a good education institution. Then we have
True.
kosher. Funds are required, sponsorships are required. So there is somebody who is paying for it, even if it is free, as they say. Danda is a support system. So I'm sure, Gaurav sir, there is a back-end support system that is working to make this happen. So in a school or a college, there is an administrative staff. There is a security guard. There are all the people who keep the machinery running. So that's Danda or your army. And Mitra, they are allies. Like, you are my ally and your ally. So together we are doing this particular program, and I'm being a student of Vedic Mathematics. I know that today we have achieved together many, many things. You have been a successful author, I've been a successful author. So one thing which I've realized from the Saptanga model, it is not about fighting, it is not about competition, it is about collaboration.
Innovation.
The Saptanga model teaches you that if you want to be a leader in any field, don't compete, but collaborate. So this is what we do by teaching Saptanga model to everyone in different formats. In fact, I've written a book also based on this called the Chanakya 7 Secrets of Leadership. So you can have a look at it. You can check, a lot of videos are there on the Saptanga model. Yeah, so that's the one. The one below second row on the left side, the Chanakya 7 Secrets of Leadership. Thank you so much, Gaurav, sir, for showing the pictures. So that's the Saptanga model of leadership for you.
Let's talk about that. That was amazing. That was fantastic. The way Chanakya has put it and the way you have interpreted it so beautifully, Bea, and put it, and the applications of it means that it has so many applications for everybody. Having said that, let's talk about a little bit about the younger students. Let's talk a little about my favorite book out of all after Corporate Chanakya was Chatur Chanakya. Chatur Chanakya, you've authored Chatur Chanakya and the Himalayan Problem. How did that come about? That was like amazing idea. This was super.
We have a common publisher, as you know, the Penguin Random Book House. And as you also
Correct.
know, that Penguin is the children's division of the same publisher. I will tell you what happened. I was once in Delhi and I was in the office because the head office is in Gurgaon, not exactly Delhi, but so I had just walked into the office and I was meeting my editor, Millie Aishwarya. So as I met, one person just came and said, "Oh, Radha, sir, how are you?" I said, "Yes, hi, I'm Anu. So I am a part of a team which looks into children's book. So if you have 5 minutes, can you spare with us?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all at your service. I've come to my publisher's office, so anytime." So he just came and he said, sir, I got a fantastic idea in my mind. So what is it? He said, why don't you write a children's book? So remember the first book, Corporate Chanakya? So
Yes.
the publishers
Yes.
told me, and as an author, remember this: never ever tell no to any idea of a publisher. You never know what they can churn out of you. A lot of
True.
people fight with publishers, and you don't sell my books, you don't do this, you don't do that. But the reality is that if a publisher gives an idea, that can turn out to be a gold mine. So when Anup
Mm.
and Hema and all those people, they said, let's brainstorm. I said, yeah. So why don't you look at Anvikshiki kind of a knowledge for children? I said, okay, not bad. And then they helped me out to create a character called as Chatur Chanakya. So we realized he's a very young boy who has studied Chanakya. And you look at the friends, he's going to a school called as Vani Vidyalaya where I studied, my children study. So we created a background and there are 6 friends together and there is a bully called Himalaya. So the little Chatur Chanakya helps his friend called as Arjun along with Lakshmi and everybody to use strategies of Chanakya as a student to solve children's problem. So I realized one thing: the book has become so popular. We are having the second version of Chatur Chanakya Part 2 with a different story coming up. So it's going to be a
Wow.
series. And what is interesting is that we are
Wow.
also turning it out into a movie.
Oh. Wow.
Yes,
That's
yes,
super.
yes,
And you also have a game, right? For of around the character.
yes. In fact, that game is called as Chanakya's Chakravyu. So
Chakravyuh.
what is a
Yes.
Chakravyu?
Yes.
Everybody knows that Abhimanyu got into the Chakravyu, but he could not get out. So life is like that, we get into the vicious cycle, we don't know how to break that cycle. And Chanakya has got a strategy for that. It's a game on wealth management and wealth creation. So Chanakya has got a
Mm.
lot of ideas about money, finance, wealth, etc. in his book Arthashastra. So again, some of my friends came to me and ideated and saying that why don't you create a game? I said, okay, I can give you the formulas, like how Gaurav sir used to knock off, Vedic mathematic formulas. So I said, okay, I can give you wealth creation formulas. And then we created a game. By playing the game, two things happen. It's a board game, and now we are also making it online. So very soon you will see the digital version of the game. We are creating that.
Super.
But what is important is that we realized one thing: we played it. The game is already available. You can check on the internet, Chanakya's Chakravyu, and we played as a board game. Two things happen. The first thing is that you learn Chanakya's principle. The second thing is that you come to know why people actually are in the vicious cycle of wealth. They keep working for money and then they realize one thing that, they have lost the best times of their life. Money is very important, but strategy to create money is more important. So people generally don't know what is the difference of wealth creation and strategy for wealth creation. So when you enter into something, Chanakya says, plan your exit. So before you enter, plan your exit. Otherwise, like Abhimanyu, you will get killed by the enemies. So this game, when you play, you actually start realizing that you have to get out of the vicious cycle of working for money, but rather make money work for you. So all the modern day concepts, we have actually derived this
Wow.
game from an ancient concept, and that's what we want to tell you. These concepts were used and time tested not only by Chanakya but for thousands of years, because of which India was the golden sparrow, Sone ki chidiya, and the whole world came to us. We are sitting in
Wow.
Kolkata,
Yes.
which was actually made the capital by the Britishers. But Britishers did not just come just like that. They had an idea and they also had a strategy. So, friends, and Gaurav sir, Chanakya's Chak Review is an amazing game that my friends have created. I want to thank my friends, the Enlightened Games team, which is trying to educate children. We also have a children's version called as Chota Chatur Chanakya, Chanakya's Chatur
Oh.
Chakravyuh. So there's a mini version. Play with your friends, play with your family, and you'll be surprised. You will learn Chanakya and also become financially rich. It's a game to teach you the strategy.
Wow. Wow. My mind is overflowing with a lot of ideas. Maybe you can have a book where Chatur Chanakya learns Vedic maths from Arya Bhatta. So we can.
Wow.
So let me ask you this question. Just a hypothetical question. Say if Chanakya met Arya Bhatta, what do you think they would discuss?
They will discuss two things. One is called Sankhya, and the second they will talk about Artha. Okay, because Aryabhatta, as you know him better than me, but Chanakya also was a number person. So there is a formula in Arthashastra which he calls about as Anvikshiki, how to think strategically. And that formula is called Anvikshiki, and it says Sankhya Yoga Lokayata. Sankhya Yoga Lokayata put together is Anvikshiki. So what is Sankhya? Sankhya is numbers. Vedic mathematics is all about numbers. So Aryabhatta and Chanakya would definitely look at Sankhya and Sankhya. They will discuss how to make it better. Then yoga. Yoga is a calm and quiet mind. Friends, you know this since I'm a Vedic mathematics student also, that when you have to sit to solve mathematical problems, you cannot have a disturbed mind. Okay, so you need to have concentration, focus, and calm and quiet. That is achieved by yoga. And the third important thing is, lokayata. You should be worldly smart. So I'm sure Aryabhatta never just created formulas, but he created application-based formulas. So both Chanakya and Aryabhatta would have definitely discussed how the society will benefit from these formulas. See, please understand all the great teachers of the past, be it Panini, be it, Aryabhatta, Chanakya, or any of the rishis, they all were very practical and they work for the society. So they never looked at, how much I can get. So I'm sure both of them will discuss their field of interest and say, what can we do better to make a common man benefit from this wisdom that we have. So I think great teachers work for the society and simplifies their knowledge for the common man and even for a child.
Super, Bhaiya. My last question to you, Bhaiya. What is the next thing for Chanakya? Your message for our young students. Last
I
question
think,
for you. Yes, Bhaiya.
yes, so I think the last message is simple. What Chanakya says, never fight a battle alone. Take some friends along. In life, we always see challenges, and a lot of people are into depression. They have a lot of other challenges and issues. But let me tell you, if you have friends with you, there is no depression. You don't even require a psychologist or a psychotherapist. The reality is that we just always require a conversation. Believe me, friends, life will always give you different challenges. Till the last day, you will be facing some challenge or the other. But you have friends with you, Mitra, as Chanakya puts it in the Saptanga. Every challenge will look small. So develop a lot of friends, be friendly with everybody, choose your friends carefully. Yeah, this is very important formula. And my advice is that have lots of friends, be friendly with everybody, but choose your friends carefully because friends can make you or break you. So be surrounded by people who are better than you and don't be selfish in friendship. Okay, so friendship is not about what I got, friendship is about what I gave. And
Yes.
as they say, a friend in need is a friend in need. So friends, remember, it is always some commitment that you give to the other person for life. It is not a very transactional relationship. What I got and what can keep getting again and again and again. It's not about getting, it's about giving. So if you want to win the battle of life, if you want to win the battle of life, according to Chanakya's art of war, he says, take a lot of friends along with you. So keep friends, and most important, be a good friend when you have to show your commitment to your friend and friendship. Thank you.
Started the discussion on Chanakya, and what a lovely message, Bhaiya, you put to us regarding friendship. So that's something which is amazing. We have Nilambar Malu, who's saying that we both are blessed in our society, and Bhaiya Kushagra Sahani says, big fan of you, sirs. So that's something which we just came in. So, people, we're wrapping up today now. Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for coming to our show. It's a privilege and honor to have had you. I would like our visitors and our watchers to go to Chanakya's Ankvikshiki website where you can read more about the book which Dr. Pillai has written. You can go to www.chanakya-ankvikshiki.com. Make a note of that so that there's no spelling error. I repeat it one more time. Please visit chanakya-ankvikshiki.com and read more about his strategies. And I would also like to promote and talk about some of Bhaya's books, which are bestsellers. And I urge each and every one of you to go through them. So thank you so much, Bhaiya. Before you leave, we just want to share with you some of the moments where we this is the picture where we first met, if you remember. This was at the Sindhya
Yes, of
school,
course. Yeah.
and this is where we met in Kolkata, where we had a
Yes.
talk given by you.
You
Oh,
organized
thanks.
it. You
Yes,
organized it
yes,
in such
Bhaiya.
a beautiful way, in such a short notice. I was supposed to go to the airport, but you made sure that I do this program and then go to the airport. You actually cancelled my ticket and got a new ticket in such a short notice.
So
Thank you so much.
it was your blessing that this happened, and we are so truly privileged to have heard you that day, without which the moment would have gone unnoticed. So you putting so much energy in that was so much lovely, Bhaiya.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bhaiya. And we're going to wrap right now. Namaste to each and every one of you. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so very much. This is Gaurav Tekriwal signing off, making maths fun. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you.